This is not a full guide on where to find rocket fuel or satcom antennas in Space City. This is not a guide on how to extract from Space City. This guide is designed to help you simply survive the first few minutes on Space City. Because as a solo, I've recently been grinding this map for rocket fuel, but I quickly found out that if you don't survive the spawn, nothing else matters. It's entirely down to luck where you and your enemy team spawn on this map, but I want to take the luck out of the equation for you so that you have the best info on how to deal with each of the 8 potential spawn locations, by understanding where your immediate threats will be, and the best options for avoiding fights at spawn, so that you're then free to either begin looting or engage in fights elsewhere. But most importantly, whatever you choose to do, it won't be a situation that's forced upon you. First off, we're going to start over on the west side of the map and work our way around the different spawns. So our first spawn over here, south of dormitory buildings, over south of residential. This is the worst spawn as far as I'm concerned. We're just going to get this done first. It's not pretty, but it only gets better from here, okay? If you've got this, you've got to deal with it, okay? My advice, and don't worry, this isn't going to be advice for the other spawns, but my advice is to just sit tight. We find a corner, either in a corner down south of the car park, or you can go under the little pier and hide under there. But my advice is to go there and sit it out for 5 minutes. The reason I say this is because the way you're going to survive your first couple of minutes on this map is by rotating around enemies or backing out from enemies. The problem with this spawn, it's the only one in the map to this degree where you're just properly cornered in. There is no way to get away from it. You're going to spawn south of dormitory. There is going to be a team spawning up in the north of dormitory, and the likelihood is that unless they run off into the central command building, they are going to be loitering around dormitory building area waiting for you to push up from the south beneath them. You can either crawl up through the car park, you're going to just walk into them, you can try and creep around the road and escape that way. I have done that, but beware, especially on hard mode, there are lots of bots floating around. It's doable to dodge them, but this team, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to be looking out for somebody south. And even when you think they've stopped doing that and you can hear them looting, they're going to do all their looting, and again, they're very potentially going to start scanning out, because they're at that point thinking, okay, it's a solo hiding out, we're going to hold them out basically. You can wait like 2-3 minutes, it might go quiet, you might think they've gone. Quite regularly, just take it from me, my experience has been teams will do their looting and then they will continue to stay here for several minutes, just waiting for you to come in. It's a patience game. So your strength as a solo is you're going to have more patience than a team of 3. Sit it out 5 minutes. Trust me, as painful as it is, if you need to creep out by the road. I have done it. It's just purely down to luck whether somebody's peeking over these walls or chucking out a lunar arrow or doing a scan as whether to spot you. So that's your choice. It doesn't sit well with me. I hate it. This is the worst spawn. We've covered it. Done. It gets better from here. Now, the second worst spawn potentially is probably this one. Okay, the north of dormitory buildings, because again, the flip side of the coin is we're going to have somebody spawn down here. If it's a solo, they might hide. If it's a team, they're probably going to push up and try and fight. So my advice, if you spawn here, is to sprint immediately. Once you get to around the distance of the flight case, slow it down into like a crawl or a walk to reduce your noise. And as this team sprints up, either through the car park or around the outside here, they won't know where you are. You're not going to give audible clues. There's the flight case. You can risk it for a biscuit, whether you slow your journey and loot that and potentially stash whatever's in it. But what you're doing is you're 1, slowing yourself down, and 2, leaving a breadcrumb as to where you've been. If you don't touch it, then there's even more mystery for this team coming up as to where you are, where you've gone, where you've been, all that kind of stuff. So that's your call. Your biggest threat then, once you've dodged this team coming up here, we're then going to creep through the little sort of monument area here and heading up to central command. Be aware, a team could be peering out this way and looking to snipe this direction. It's not as common, but it is possible. What I would be doing when I'm crawling out this way is I would be minimizing the noise I make while looking back at the dormitory building area for people peering over those fences, people peering back across that way. So minimize your sight lines while you crawl over to the central command building, or that direction at least. Congratulations, you've survived the spawn. Onto our third spawn location, and this is the back entrance to the central command building. So you'll spawn just right round at the back of the central command building. Your biggest threat is going to be the teams sniping from the dormitory building. They might be looking over this way at the barriers and sniping, so you want to get out of sight first off. I would recommend going into the building and then listening out for the teams heading over from the east side of the map, or potentially teams heading over from here, the employee passage area. They're likely, either of those teams, they are very likely to be sprinting up here to the top floor of the building through sand. There's a mound here built of sand, and it takes you to the top floor of the building. The main thing you're looking for is that you want to stay on the west side of the building, so that if either one of these teams come, you're able to back yourself out of the building, find a decent little hiding spot. Now, there's a good one on the west side of the building, down behind a barrier in the bushes. People don't generally expect there to be like a little solo hiding there. So even if you get a couple of teams fighting out the front, or there's a bit of activity, that is a good way to dodge that going on. Give it a couple of minutes, they might be looting in central command building and then zip across themselves, and then that leaves you free to then work into central command and over to the east side of the map, depending on what you want to do. Or if there's lots of fighting going on in here, or it sounds like they're busy, they're going to stay there for a little while, not normally too long, but you can creep around the front of the map. If you creep around the front of the map, you can stay underneath the balcony and out of sight of the team on the top, but that's what I'd be listening for. Central command, done. Spawn number 4, employee passage. Right, the golden solution here is to buy the keycard, okay? There's a keycard to open up a door here and you can run across these pipes. That would be my first choice and highly recommended. It'll be worth it. The amount you spend on kit versus what that keycard costs and what you're potentially going to gain by being able to run across here and getting first dibs on the core of the map. I would highly recommend buying that keycard and just accept it's going to cost you a bit of money and get in here. There's a flight case across here, so you're potentially making a bit of money back straight off the bat, okay? If you haven't got the keycard or can't afford the keycard or don't want to buy a keycard for any reason, I would exit the building onto the south, down the little gangway, and then I would keep myself hidden, tucked in behind the wall from the team at Central Command, and listen out for if they're zipping across. But ideally, they're going to take a minute or two to loot through Command Building, and in that time, you can run along the wall and take the lower zip across and then sprint across. Just be aware, if you're doing that, rather than taking a key card, they might already be on the balcony by that point, and looking out for teams spawning at employee passage and either looking to snipe you on the pipes or snipe you trying to get into the north entrances of the core area. So while you can take the lower zip and go in through the main, it's exposing you to a lot more peril, basically. Certainly on hard mode, I think you get them on normal, but certainly on hard mode, there'll be snipers, like bot snipers, up on the roof of buildings. Just keep running. As long as you keep running, they are not very accurate. It's once you stand still, that's when they start hitting you. As long as you're sprinting, they don't generally hit you. Spawn number 5, and it's the north one of printing rooms and rocket assembly. Not one of the best ones, but not a bad spawn. Your option here really is I would recommend sprinting to where the vehicle is. The first vehicle you see over on the east towards the printing room, and then break into a crawl. You're sprinting to get out of line of sight, minimize your line of sights from employee passage, from teams down on the south of the map on the east side, or anybody in assembly room peeking out. You just want to get down here and break your long lines of sight from snipers. Once you're here, you're then going to crawl, okay? And you're crawling because if you look at the distances, you're going to get to printing room potentially about the same time or even slower than a team can get there from assembly. I've fallen victim to it. I thought you could, if you get to the mouth of printing room, you can get there quicker than a team at assembly. I've had it where teams have got there before me and just murdered me once I got to the door. They knew I was there because I ran. So crawl in, creep in, listen for teams coming through printing room. If they're not coming, then you can push on further in. You've survived the first minutes. If they are coming, then you've got a couple of options. There's a little nook you can hide out and potentially dig yourself in. It's not overly common that teams are going to check this corner. They will either sprint past you or they will head out more direct route to the employee passage or to command building. But if you dig in there, it is possible they're going to check. If it's a team, you've pretty much had it. If it's a solo, then it's a free kill on a solo if they don't check that corner. The safer option, if you hit a team, is to just start backing out. Start backing out back towards your spawn, get behind cover, keep using the objects in the road to break that line of sight, and then you can either creep in towards command building or the little hilly area where there's a couple of birds' nests you can be looting, or you can aim to rotate around the area outside of printing rooms and hoist an assembly, and then rotate into those buildings in the opposite side to the teams coming out. So if the teams are coming out the north side of printing room, then you're going to head in through the hoisting assembly. If they come out through hoisting assembly, then that's where you're safer to rotate in that direction. But what you're doing is you're breaking line of sight and reacting to the sound, listening out for where the teams are rotating from, and you're just going to simply go the other side of the roundabout, if that makes sense. On to spawn number 6, and this is the assembly room. This is my preferred spawn location because if you're after rocket fuel, there's a good couple of locations here, but it is not without risk. But by understanding the map, it is not too risky, as weird as that sounds. Your immediate threats are going to be the team at the north, potentially the team at the south. More often than not, you're going to get a team come from one side or the other. It's not too often they come from both. But you're listening out and reacting to the sound. I would start positioning yourself to the southwest corner of the building. There's an open door out of the building, and I would essentially be positioning yourself there so that if you hear a team coming from printing room, coming from the north entry, you're going to again rotate around the opposite of the way they're coming. There's 3 entry points: through hoisting assembly, through the west door from printing, and up on the gantry from the east of printing. The reality is it's unlikely a team of 3 are going to come in all 3 entrances at once. They're likely to sort of stick together, probably coming in through the east 2 entrances, less likely coming in through hoisting assembly. There's poor loot in hoisting assembly, so that's why I'm saying head down southwest. You're probably going to be able to creep out this way and back down towards the bridge, back down to this area here where it's safe, or even into hoist assembly building and work your way out and then north towards central command building. The last spawn on the east side of the map, only other one where you're arguably sort of tucked into a corner and trapped in a corner. You're going to spawn inside this vehicle. You've got 2 options. You can either sit there and sit tight, and it's fairly uncommon for a team to push down and check you. If you stay there, you're reasonably safe. Lunar arrows aren't going to catch you because you're undercover. The only thing that will come and wreck you is a raptor bird. But if a raptor bird's getting sent out searching for you, then you've pretty much had it here as a solo. You're in a fight anyway. That is fairly uncommon. The option I go for is I'll start creeping along the path towards the drain cover, the little stash. Don't loot the stash because, again, that's giving a clue that you're there. If somebody peeks out of the open door at the south of assembly, the southeast of assembly room, you don't want any clues that you're there. So there's a little head glitch at the front of the wagon. Don't fall victim to that. Creep out the van, break the line of sight, and head in through the water tanks potentially. Resist the stash. You can always come back and loot the stash after once you've cleared your area. Priorities: survive, then do your looting. If you head over to the west side of the storage tanks in the middle, there's a little opening that gives you a big long line of sight where you can remain reasonably hidden and have a long line of sight all the way up to the printing rooms at the north. And you can either see the teams leaving, and then that gives you the clue that you've pretty much got free reign to work your way through hoisting assembly and printing rooms, or it gives you a good line of sight of people pushing down from the north spawn through printing rooms and coming your direction, in which case you can withdraw further south again and remain safer. Again, our main priority is to remain hidden and just rotate around. So while you can push up early, if you've got a team here, my recommendation would be to just withdraw again and wait for them to go. They'll either head out north, or they may head up the ramp and up bridge, in which case, if they do that, if you get back into that van, you're going to be safe from any scans or any arrows. They're not going to know you're there. They're not going to be checking at that point. Their interest at that point is heading over the bridge and running into the core area. The final spawn, and arguably the best one for solos, or for anyone potentially, is the rocket. If you spawn here at rocket, it's the only spawn where you are absolutely uncontested. So what you're looking to do is quick sprint down towards the core area, and then you've either got the option of heading into the core, getting first dibs on some uncontested loot, either in black chamber or centrifuge, depending on where you hear the enemy teams coming from, or you can head down to test workshop and loot in here because you get a satcom antenna spawn in there. But the only thing I would recommend is take the east road rather than the bridge, even if the bridge is knocked out. You get lots of bots on this bridge, especially on hard mode. It's a bit dicey. I would just dart through over to the east road, take that down, and then head under the overpass. Then cling the overpass, and from there you can still remain stealthy and unseen while checking if bridge is down. If bridge is down, then there's obviously going to be a team coming in, heading into the core, going into the black chamber. And there you've got a decision, is either you go to the test workshop, loot there, or you head into centrifuge, or potentially take the bridge and go out from where they've came from. If bridge is up, then you're free. You're absolutely free. It's your choice whether you go to the test workshop, head into core. You know that the nearest possible team is going to be the employee passage team. And to get to you, they're likely going to have to first go all the way through test range. You've pretty much got the time to get into the black chamber and get out again. Just remember, you're listening out for those teams. You're looking to rotate around them or come back from the way you've entered into a situation. They're the two main options. If you dig in, you're going to get people jumping, checking corners, like scanning areas. There's a reasonable chance you're going to get found. I would always recommend rotate around teams or come back from where you've come, your known safe direction. Digging in, it's high risk. I'll put a link in the comment to a couple of decent videos that are full guides for Space City and getting the best loot out of that map and how to extract, all that kind of jazz. They were really useful for me, so I'll link to those. But I will catch you another time.